Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. A quick video today about how your life might impact people who live in 4023, that's 2,000 years from now. I think we have a tendency to look at our lives individualistically, as if my whole story and all the impact that I can have has to be done between the dates of my birth and my death, because there's nothing else before that or after it. And I think also as Christians, we have a tendency to look at our age, our generation, and the little window of time in the history of the world that we get to occupy, and all of our focus is on that tiny window. But the Bible, in the way that it's written, it doesn't teach us to look at our lives as a tiny section of time isolated from the rest of what has gone on in history. Rather, it teaches us that we are part of a bigger story, really an eternal story, that spans all of human history and into eternity. Especially if we look at the Old Testament and then we apply those principles forward into our lives, we can learn a lot about the impact that we can have, or rather that God can have, using us on future generations. There is precedent that God can use our lives to lay the groundwork for a plan that He will bring to completion 2,000 years from now, which would be 4023 AD. If you go back to Genesis 12, you'll find this promise that God made to a guy named Abraham. And that was that He was going to bless all the people of the earth through Abraham. And that was going to be done through Jesus, who was going to die on the cross for the sins of the world. But if you do the timeline of the Bible, you realize that Jesus didn't come around until 2,000 years after God made that promise to Abraham. So Abraham's life of relatively simple obedience to God was the beginning of a world-altering plan. If we look at just the impact that Abraham made during his lifetime, the dates between his year and his death, the impact wouldn't be that significant, and we would be missing the bigger story. And we shouldn't forget that we are part of a bigger story, and really the story is not ours, and it doesn't depend on us and what we're able to achieve before we die, but it's God's story, and we should be looking at how God can use us to drive His story forward, because that's a better story than ours is ever going to be anyway. The simple obedience that we give to God today might be the foundation of tremendous blessings for future generations. You might feel like the simple obediences of your life aren't going to amount to much because your time is running out here on earth. Look, let God deal with what your life amounts to. He will be the one who has the impact in the long run anyway. And if the Bible teaches us anything, it's that our small obediences are the building blocks of God's master and beautiful plan. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're interested in resources to help you know God better and the scriptures better, you can find those on our website for free at tobelikechrist.com. There's a link in the description. I'll see you next time.